Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. I offer my humble salutations to Lord Vedavyasa, without whom we would not have been able to enjoy the essence of the Mahabharata. Every forthcoming session, the first few minutes shall be dedicated for clarifications based on the questions in the comments and suggestions in the comments. Also, I have a few clarifications to make. The first clarification being Satyaki was a Shalakya expert, which means he was an expert in ENT concepts, the ear, nose, and throat concepts, and not just the eye. And the word for a thirsty person, Patumitsa, is Pipasa, and the person is Pipasu, not Pipakshu. I accidentally mouthed it as Pipakshu, it is Pipasu. So those are two changes suggested by Dr. Sudha and Pramodana respectively. Thank you very much. And based on the suggestions of the viewers, Sudarshan had asked for images of various people, and I shall try to maintain the same. I shall try to add a few images of various bowmen if it's available. So with that note, and Aravind had asked me to brief about the shloka at the end. Sure, Aravind, I shall brief about the shloka at the end so that you will have some connection between the shloka and its crystal clear meaning. So let us move into the next set of warriors that Duryodhana is talking about. He has already talked about various warriors, and now he talks about a third set of warriors for various reasons, which we shall be seeing in the forthcoming shlokas. He says, Yudha manyuscha vikrantah uttamaujaschcha viryavan saubhadra draupadeyascha sarvayeva maharathaah. Yudha manyu uttamaujas. These two warriors were the brothers of Draupadi and the sons of Drupada, who were born in a natural way, not in the way how Drishtadyumna and Draupadi were born. Drishtadyumna and Draupadi were born because of a yajna which Drupada performs, the sole purpose of the yajna being the request for a son who would, in the end, be the reason for Drona's death. Yudhamanyu and Uttamaujas were extremely valiant, fierce heroes who were sons of Drupada, and obviously Duryodhana is intimidated by their presence. Then he says, Saubhadraha. Saubhadraha means the son of Subhadra. Subhadra is the wife of Arjuna and the sister of Krishna. Their son Abhimanyu was an extremely fierce warrior, an extremely fierce young warrior who wreaked havoc in the Kurukshetra. He destroyed many fighters and their chariots. He was the reason many great people in the Mahabharata Yuddha fighting for the Kauravas were down. Next, he also talks about Draupadeyaha, sons of Draupadi, the Upapandavas. Always, we tend to group them as Upapandavas and we rarely know their names. I feel it is a disgrace to do that to the identity of the Upapandavas themselves. We must know their names, and their respective names are Prativindya, who was the son of Yudhishthira, Suta Soma, the son of Bhima, Shrutakarma, the son of Arjuna, Satanika, the son of Nakula, and Shrutasena, the son of Sahadeva. These five young, bold men who are only of age 12 to 16 or 17 years fought in the Mahabharata Yuddha, and this scared Duryodhana because at such an young age, their determination to fight was so much that they ended up being a warrior on the fields of Kurukshetra And if their sons were that brave, how brave were the fathers? All this scared Duryodhana, but what made him say in the initial shloka that Bhima Arjuna Sama Yudhi, these warriors are equivalent to Bhima and Arjuna? It is a very interesting question, because why just point to Bhima and Arjuna of all people? You could say they are equivalent to Bhishma and Drona, you could say they are equivalent to Karna, but no, he chooses Arjuna and Bhima. The reason for this is in the Vamana Purana, it is stated that only three people had the ability to lift the Gandiva: Krishna, Bhima, and Arjuna. That is why these two people are regarded to be very, very famous and special on the fields of Kurukshetra. Krishna obviously was only a person who would drive the chariot, he would not participate in the war. So Arjuna and Bhima were the fighting people here. And that's why Duryodhana says all these warriors are equivalent to Bhima and Arjuna in value. In order to know why the Gandiva is so special, we must know the story of the Gandiva. We must understand how special the Gandiva is. The Gandiva was initially created by Brahma. Brahma created the divine bow and gave it to one of the Prajapatis. The Prajapatis circulated the Gandiva within themselves for various purposes when it was necessary and gave it to Indra finally. Indra used the bow for a long term and gave it to Chandra. After this, Chandra gave the bow to Varuna. Varuna held the bow during the Mahabharata time. It's very important to know who the bow's owner was at that point of time. It was Varuna. So how did the bow end up in Arjuna's hands from Varuna? It's a very interesting story. There was a king named Shvetaki. Shvetaki wanted to perform a very long homa, a very long havana for a long span of 12 years. He wanted the homa to go on for 12 years continuously. All the sages said it was impossible to sit at the same place for 12 years because of the extreme smoke that would come out of the homa, due to which they will not be able to see what's happening around them. Their eyes may be disturbed, and all these reasons. And they left the great hall, saying they will not be able to perform a homa for 12 years. But Shvetaki was a very determined king, just like how Kuru was a very determined king. One thing we notice from here are all the kings are very determined. They are focused. When they want something to happen, they will do any amounts of penance for it. Shvetaki also performed rigorous penance, praying to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva finally appeared before Shvetaki and told, there's only one person who can sit in a particular place for 12 years and perform a homa, and that will only be Durvasa. Shvetaki requested Durvasa, sage Durvasa, to come and help him with the homa. Durvasa single-handedly performed the homa for 12 years. He single-handedly sat at a place and performed homa for 12 years, and Agni consumed the sacrificial offerings for 12 years continuously. Due to this, Agni developed an indigestion. Due to consuming the sacrificial butter for 12 years continuously, the ghee for 12 years, he developed an indigestion and he needed some sort of treatment for it. He started praying to Lord Brahma, requesting how should he act in order to cure his indigestion. And Brahma said, there are particular herbs present in the Khandava forest which you must consume in order to cure yourself of this excess indigestion that has been caused in your body. So Agni went to consume the Khandava forest, but there was only one problem. Indra's Mahabhakta and friend Nagaraja Takshaka stayed in the forest. So whenever Agni tried to burn the Khandava forest, Indra would send down downpours of rain and causing the flame to be extinguished. So this never allowed Agni to consume the Khandava forest, and because of this, he again went back to Brahma and asked him, what should he do? This time Brahma said, I know what your problem is. What you should do is you must go to the banks of Yamuna river where Nara and Narayana Swarupa will be there. Agni was surprised. Nara and Narayana? Brahma told, yes, Nara and Narayana Swarupa will be sitting on the banks of Yamuna right now. Go to them and they will be able to help you. Agni went and found Krishna and Arjuna and explained their problem to them. Arjuna said, O celestial being, Agnideva, I am blessed to help you sort out your problem, but I have two main problems. One, I have many celestial arrows to help you in this, but I don't have a suitable bow. I have lots of arrows. I have learned lots of arrows, mantras, and I have gained lots of astras from the devas, but I don't have an equivalent bow, an equally strong bow to wield. And because I load the ratha with a lot of arrows, every ratha breaks. No ratha is able to carry the weight of the arrows, and I need a special ratha. Agni immediately advised Arjuna to pray to Lord Varuna, who currently had the Gandiva bow. Varuna came in front of Arjuna and gave him two things. One, the Gandiva bow, and two, a quiver which was always full of arrows. It was always full, it would never get empty. Agni also obliged to Arjuna's second request of the Ratha and gave him a Ratha which would stand any amount of Astra Prayoga, any amount of damage until Arjuna's task was completed. Till then, Agni's Ratha would be with Arjuna. So, after all these incidents, with the help of Arjuna, Agni was able to consume the Khandava forest. What Arjuna did is very interesting. When Agni went to consume the Khandava forest, Indra naturally sent down rain, but Arjuna used his arrows to construct a roof on the Khandava forest. He constructed a roof out of arrows so that not a single drop of water would land on the Khandava forest. Agni was able to consume the entire Khandava forest. Takshaka ran away from the forest. And then Agni was able to cure himself. So that is the story of the divine Gandiva and how Arjuna came in possession of it. Finally, summing up the warriors on the Pandava side, Banaji Govindacharya has given specific reasons as to why specific names were informed, and we have been discussing about it all the while. Summing up at the end, Drishtadyumna was the son of Drupada, who was a ritual gift to Drupada. He was the result of great ritual performed by Drupada, demanding or rather praying for a son who would kill Drona. And Drupada was very smart as he sent Drishtadyumna to Drona himself for his education. Drishtadyumna learned everything from Drona, and finally he is the reason Drona is dead. So Duryodhana mentions Drishtadyumna for that reason. Drishtaketu, as we know, was the son of Shishupala, but he sided with the Pandavas and that disturbed Duryodhana. Shaibya was Shibi's son. Shaibya's son was a friend of Jarasandha and he was killed by Bhima. But why did Shaibya still side with the Pandavas was Duryodhana's big question. Chekitana and Yuyudhana were great friends. They went away on pilgrimage on the words of Balarama, who was their guru, but they returned for war, casting away their aesthetic robes, coming back as warriors. This shocked Duryodhana because two people who had went for uh, a religious pilgrimage returned back to the Yuddha Bhumi as warriors just for the Pandavas. What did they even see in the Pandavas that they had to come back from their pilgrimage? And then Virata was under the fear of Kichaka for a long time, but Bhima killed Kichaka, which caused Virata to side with the Pandavas now. If Kichaka was alive, he would have forced Virata to side with the Kauravas, but because Kichaka was not there now, Virata was free to bring his Matsya kingdom's army in the side of the Pandavas, and this disturbed Duryodhana in various aspects. He was mentally disturbed as to how brave the sons of the Pandavas were and was afraid to admit that they were really, really strong bowmen. All this made Duryodhana very much afraid. Now he says, Asmatam tu vishishtaye tani bodhadvijotamam nayaka mama sainyasya sanyartam tan bravimite. O great teacher, whenever we are in crisis, when we look at the problems before us, look at the tasks before us, we turn back to what we have done already to give us confidence. Isn't it? When we have problems, when we say, oh, tomorrow I have 2 exams to write, or tomorrow I have 2 projects to complete, we always look back and say, but I have already written 2 exams a day in my previous classes. I can do it again. I have already completed many projects in one day. Why can't I do 2 tomorrow? This kind of approach gives us confidence, and Duryodhana, being a great diplomat, uses this approach. He says, I have summed up the Pandava army, O Guru, but I'll also be talking about a few people from our army because he says, Oh Guru, do not think our army is very weak. Our army is equally strong. Drona already knows that. But why does he say that? To give himself confidence. To give himself confidence that he too has assembled an equally strong army just as the Pandavas. When in doubt, he looks at the heroes present on his side. That gives him confidence, that helps him recover from the shock that such a great army had assembled on his enemy's side. He says, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Krapascha Samitinjayah Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saumadathistataivacha. He starts with saying Bhavan so as to respect Dronacharya. When we speak to people, this is a lesson for us to first start referring from them. That does not cause any ego hurt for the person. He is talking to Drona. If he had started with any other warrior, the immediate doubt in Drona's mind would have been, does he not trust me? Duryodhana is a great diplomat. He does not give that chance at all. He says, Bhavan, first of all, you are there. Bhishma is there, the grandsire, the unconquerable one, the Ichamarani. He's there on our side. Kripacharya is there. Kripacharya was the guru of the Pandavas. He was also one of the 7 Chiranjeevis. Then he says Ashwathama. He was also a Chiranjeevi, the son of Drona. He says Vikarna is on our side. And so is Somadatta. Somadatta, son. Saumadatti. He is also present on our side. But again, he reflects lack of confidence. There are reasons why his lack of confidence has been reflected here. Again, Bananjay Govindacharya beautifully says, he says Bhavan, referring to Drona himself. But Drona, Bhishma, and Kripa are all elders who have equal love for the Pandavas also. They may be fighting on the Kaurava side, but they equally love their children who are present on the Pandava side. And they may be reluctant to fight in this war. Even if they fight fiercely, they may be reluctant to kill the Pandavas. They may choose not to kill the Pandavas, only the other soldiers. That was one fear Duryodhana had. Then he says Karna, but there was a problem. Karna was the son of Surya and the king of Anga region, but he had been insulted by Bhishma's words. Bhishma never meant to insult him, but Karna's ego did not allow him to think in that way. He thought Bhishma is insulting me, so he had taken a vow that he would only come to Kurukshetra after Bhishma's death. So that meant till Bhishma was alive, Duryodhana would not have Karna's support. But on the other hand, he did not want Bhishma to die either. That was a kind of a dilemmic situation he was in. Again, Ashwathama and Kripa were both immortals, Chiranjeevis. There are 7 Chiranjeevis mentioned in our scriptures: Ashwathama, Bali, Vyasa, Hanuman, Vibhishana, Kripacharya, and Parashurama. In this war, 2 Chiranjeevis fought with the Kauravas. Yet, it did not give him confidence because Ashwathama, Kripacharya, and Dronacharya were all Brahmanas by practice. So they would devote a better part of their daily time for their everyday Nitya Karma. Would they be able to come to the war after that and perform well in the war was a huge doubt for Duryodhana. Even though all of them were committed to the war, Duryodhana thought, but Dronacharya and Kripacharya have to perform their Sandhya Vandana and then perform their japas and then come to war. Will they have the time to do that? Or will they only half participate in the war? This disturbed Duryodhana very much. Vikarna was a very fierce warrior and a bowman on Duryodhana's side, yet he was also the only brother who said that the disrobing incident was something to be embarrassed about. It was wrong. He opposed it. So, yet he being a Dharmavan, fought for his brother. But Duryodhana was not confident that he would fight with the same fears. He may reduce his vigor while going against people who he agreed with. His thoughts matched with those on his opponent's side. How will he have the heart to kill the same people he had same thoughts with? This troubled Duryodhana to a great extent. Saumadatta's son, his presence in the battle was very interesting. He was not Duryodhana's friend at all. He came and joined the battle because Krishna was on the opponent side. It is a very interesting story where Balika, the brother of Shantanu, had a grandson named Bhurishavas. His father, Somadatta, also went to the Swayamvara where Vasudeva won over Devaki. He was one of the competitors trying to win the hand of Devaki. Vasudeva did not fight his war by his own. He sent a representative named Sini. Sini defeated Somadatta in battle, leaving Somadatta angry that Vasudeva had won Devaki's hand without even fighting. So this caused a lot of bad blood between the two families, and Somadatta was always against Vasudeva. So Somadatta's son, Purushras, joined the army of the Kauravas with an intention to embarrass and even attempt to kill Krishna. So that's why Duryodhana did not have much confidence on Purushras, whether as to he would fight as a peer, a kinsman of his own side, or would only try to target Krishna and would leave once his job is done, or would he even focus on the other soldiers? So this was very frightening for Duryodhana, and he did not know whether to confide in Somadatta's son's power or not. It is important to note that here Bhurishravas has been described as Saumadatti, which means the son of Somadatta. So it is not Somadatta who's in battle, it is his son, Bhurishravas. So in this manner, Duryodhana showed his lack of confidence on his own kinsmen, people fighting for his side, and his excess confidence on his opponents. This is very funny because Duryodhana never retorted to such sorts of thought, but now looking at the opponent's prowess, he was forced to dwell upon these thoughts. As Ekanatheshwaran satirically says, the first Adhyaya should not be called the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, but it can rather be called Duryodhanasya Sanka, which means the doubt of Duryodhana, the doubts, the various lack of confidence present in Duryodhana. In the forthcoming shlokas, we will witness various parts where Duryodhana shows his lack of confidence. And we will also dwell into Arjuna's deep doubt as to whether war is righteous. So, if you have any clarifications, please place them in the comment section. It will be addressed in the next session. Kindly subscribe to the channel. Let us meet next week and let us conclude this session by placing our prayers at the lotus feet of the Lord. Govindeति sada dhyanam, Govindeti sada japam, Govindeti sada dhyanam, Sada Govinda Kirtanam.